It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Let's talk some sports. That's right. It is Thursday, December 1st, 2022. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, also Fox2Detroit.com, the Fox 2 app. Good afternoon to you, my friend.
What's up, my brother? Just feeling good. Got a haircut. You know, today is Haircut Friday. Technically, it's Haircut Friday.
Haircut Fridays.
But because we're not doing that beautiful thing that we're doing with Fox 2, Thursdays is now more important to get a haircut.
We record a segment for the Fox 2 pregame show on Thursdays now, so Braylon has moved his schedule around, and now instead of getting the haircut on Friday, it has become Haircut Thursday.
I couldn't have you on Sundays. You know, people are showing, they say, hey, man, we see you and Ryan on Fox 2. You guys look good, but he looks good. You look a little scruffy.
Get all tightened up a little bit.
So, you know,
I doubt they said that.
I had to get tight right. Shout out to my boy JD. Got me right, man. Feeling good. It's a beautiful Thursday. And it's also Thursday for Killer Christmas.
Oh, we're going to be out at the Lodge tonight in Kego Harbor. All three of us are going to be out there.
Come on out and see us.
Absolutely. A laundry list of celebrity bartenders. As it were, and us. then we're along for the ride. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you.
Hey, fellas, I have put together a dynamite show, Monty. This is going to be a hell of a day. And I have a surprise for you guys at 3 o'clock, so stay tuned.
I'm on Fox 2 this morning, and Maz texts me separately. And he says, hey, look, I got a really nice show for you today.
Okay.
I'd like for you to take a look at it. Because he knows.
You won't take a full look.
He doesn't have to send you. You're going to be taking a look at it.
He's got his notes. I don't need him.
This is true.
I don't need to remind him.
I need you to take a look at it.
This is true. So backstory for a lot of you guys out there in terms of what that really is the funny thing is, so Maz puts together shows, puts them together. He sends them to us, and as he has the topics, he sends them to us, gives us a little soundbite, so that we can we're abreast on what's going on. Right. We can make our opinion, make our decisions on how we feel about certain things. Then Maz is finished. He'll send a picture, a PDF of the show as it is, right? And it has everything on it that Maz has highlighted as being important to today's show. Ryan will legitimately send in segments out of order on his own, like, oh man, did you guys see this?
We got to talk about this.
And Maz is like, yeah, if you look at 248, then he'll send something else and like, oh man, this right here, this has got to be off the top. Maz will be like, look at above 2 p.m. It says legitimately.
JB sends me stuff too.
That's so funny.
I don't even tell JB, look at the rundown.
Look at the rundown. What about this? Look at the rundown. What about that? Look at the rundown.
We got it in already. I'm glad to know that he just needs to send me that text, though. Me too. For the record. Jamie Morris coming up momentarily. Did want to get to this off the bat. It's the hottest story in the state right now, and that is Michigan defensive lineman senior Mazi Smith was charged with carrying a concealed weapon. It was a felony charge of this. Now, this was an incident that happened on October 7th. So you're looking at it about 7 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, this took place. We have just gotten word from the University of Michigan. Here's a statement from Michigan Athletic Director Ward Manuel on it. We are aware of the charge against Mazi from a traffic stop back in October. Mazi was honest, forthcoming, and cooperative from the very beginning and is a tremendous young man. He is not and never has been considered a threat to the university or community. Based on the information communicated to us, we will continue to allow the judicial process to play out. Mazi will continue to participate as a member of the team. Statement from Jim Harbaugh, Michigan football coach. I have respect for our judicial process, and with that respect brings confidence that a fair and just resolution is forthcoming. Mazi's character and trust that he has earned over the past 4 years will continue to be considered throughout the process. Braylon Edwards.
Ray
what
Charles.
are you looking for? What are you looking for, Ray?
Hey, man, I'm Ray Charles. I don't see nothing. I don't know what you guys are talking about. All jokes aside, getting back serious with it, I don't know to the extent of everything that's going on. I know people are up in arms, especially, no pun intended, especially in Michigan State and people like that because of the tunnel situation, how Jim was so on it in terms of to get something, make something happen with that. I don't know what the case is. I don't know what it was. I don't know, it says felony, so obviously he's not carrying a weapon that was licensed to him. I don't know exactly the due process, but I'm with Jim Harbaugh. We'll let the process take care of itself, and once the process is full, they'll know what they want to do in terms of him being suspended or moving forward.
The University of Michigan and Mazi Smith and Jim Harbaugh and Ward Manuel, I guarantee you, they have more information about this topic than we do.
Yeah.
And I think we will take the same stance that we did when Imani Bates got pulled over with a gun. We didn't talk about that either on this program either, if you remember that, Braylon Edwards, when that happened, because we did not have the full picture of we didn't know. We didn't know what happened that night, whose car, whose gun, nothing. We did not comment on it. And again, maybe that's not the popular thing to do on a radio show, but we are going to take the tack that we don't know the information that they do. If they feel comfortable with this, we'll go with what they have.
Here's the other thing about that. When that whole situation played out, one of the things that I said is, if you remember, I said, we don't have all the full details, but as of right now, we know that it wasn't Imani Bates' gun. We know through the situation, we know that it wasn't his gun. That's what he's alleging. That's what everybody else around the situation is alleging. So we said, but with that, we'll wait to have further announcement. Everybody up in arms saying that, oh, look what happened with Imani Bates. Once he came out with that, he was immediately suspended 2 games, or he was immediate suspension follows suit. Yeah, but the immediate suspension, ladies and gentlemen, was for marijuana. It was for the possession of marijuana. That's why ultimately he was suspended. That's why ultimately he had a misdemeanor. It was for the marijuana on his person in that particular situation. We don't know what's going on. If it would have been just Imani Bates and the gun in the car that was not his, either one, the car or the gun, then Imani Bates probably isn't looking at being suspended at all. So I think it's best to let that situation play out and see exactly what happens. Because if it's another similar situation, then he's not going to be charged, much like Imani Bates wouldn't have been charged if he didn't have the marijuana.
Listen, guys, on the chat, I'm looking at CJ Snyder. CJ says the gun was actually licensed to Mazi. Our own Adam Morency says that he just saw on Twitter that Mazi is allowed to travel, so no travel restrictions at all. And then as I was reading the story, you're going to get the Michigan State
I don't
point of
care
view.
about what
But I'm just saying, our friend Tony Paul and others have put out stuff after Angeli put the story out, and they said, wow, the same county that took 7 Michigan State kids and charged them within 4 or 5 days, sat on this thing for 7 weeks. Someone has to explain why that happened. So there's that side of the people here in Michigan as well. I just want to put that out. That's what people are saying. We tell you what the deal is.
When someone says cooperated, to use the words from athletic director Ward Manuel, when it says cooperation in a situation, in a traffic stop or whatever, as it relates to having a weapon, as it relates to having a concealed gun, when it says cooperation, that right there is a term that lets you know this gun is probably licensed to this individual, and he's cooperating because you have to let the authorities know, hey, when you pull me up, hi, I have a gun in the vehicle. My gun's right here. It's a move away, the whole thing. The whole thing they teach you in your concealment classes. So it's one of the things where he's licensed to the gun. This traffic stop is something different. Whatever the traffic stop was, running a red light or blah, 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 whatever that was, it was. But as it relates to the concealed weapon, he cooperated fully, told them, hey, I have a gun right here. They said, okay, cool. He gave it to him, and it is licensed to him. So right now, there's not the same story as Imani Bates.
Yeah, it is. There's no 2 stories that seem to be apples to apples at all. And with Mazi Smith, was the gun purchased legally? Was there an application? Was there a license for it? Was that an application? Was it in process? There's so many different ways to go with it. And again, until we have the information, we can't comment on it. So I'm going to go with Ward Manuel here and Jim Harbaugh. For my purposes, Mazi Smith will be on the field on Saturday, and we'll go with that. Yeah. We will talk about that game. We will do that next with Jamie Morris, get his take on the Mazi Smith situation as well. There's going to be a lot of noise about this on the outside, and you know what? It is what it is.
To talk about.
Yeah,
really.
Seems like it's over. It's dead and buried. The story is over.
Everybody wants the champs to do something wrong.
That's right.
They want to pull you back down once you get on
That's
top.
right. So there you go. Jamie Morris going to join us, Michigan legend. We'll talk to him next, but first a message from Moneyball.
Check out Moneyball Sportswear. It's your one-stop shop for athletic apparel. Check it out, man. Desmond Ferguson, the owner, CEO of Moneyball. I've known him for a very long time. All he cares about is the quality of things, not quantity. The quality of things, and their athletic apparel is second to none. I love the hoodies. I love the jogging pants. I love the socks. I love the hats. I love the T-shirts. It's so fitting. It's so smooth. You can sleep in it, hoop in it, play football in it. It doesn't matter. And also, they also can get uniforms for your schools, for your AAU team. MoneyballSportswear.com.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward and Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
What's a winter wonderland if you can't shop, eat, and play? Lucky for you, you can do it all at the Downtown Detroit Markets, Cadillac Lodge, and the new winter version of the Monroe Street Midway, all located just across the street from Campus Martius Park. Find the fun at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
With the holiday season here, Swiss Insurance wants to remind you about to insure those gifts, jewelry, or collectibles. You want to put a little money, want to put a little extra money on those because those things cost a little bit extra money themselves. In the last 2 weeks, Swiss has saved the clients on average 26% on their insurance premiums, increasing their coverage at the same time. That's a lot of money for the given season, and the given season is here. Happy holidays from Swiss Insurance Group, my man Mark.
Hey, what's going on, Braylon? It's Caden Colsar, senior safety on the Michigan football team. First of all, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. Jamie wanted me to tell you what's up, and thank you so much for covering Michigan athletics so well. I also wanted to show you the power of Stadium in Maine with this shout out. It's so easy for fans to book athletes like me. I made $40 for just 2 minutes of work. It's the easiest, most lucrative part-time job for student athletes just like me. That's all I got for today. I hope you have a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And of course, go blue.
Look at that.
Look at that, Braylon.
Look at that right there, man. Stadium in Maine, man. Jamie's going to have to tell us a little bit more about that, man. Those are some good opportunities, some good ways. See, this is what it's talking about, earning your NIL. Like you earn it. There's some work behind it. You send the shout out, you send a happy birthday, you send a hey, get over your injury, blah, blah, blah. That's actually work put in, not come to our university, here's $1.05 in a duffel bag. I appreciate I can see the work.
Right.
See the work. Shout out to that kid, man. Sorry.
Hey, let's
I'll
bring
still
him.
take the duffel bag, though.
Yeah,
Right.
me too. But that's all.
Do both. Let's bring him in. One of the greats of all time, one of the legends of Michigan football, host of the M Zone on WTKA on Twitter at JMorris23, the great Jamie Morris. How are you, Jamie?
I'm doing well, guys. And hey, how about Kate? How about
Hey,
Kate?
I love it.
You guys.
Great kid.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you set that up. Great kid. It translates through the video. You can see his personality.
It's a happy birthday for Stadium in Maine. Guys, just opened up an NIL with a bunch of other former football players. It starts with Keith Mitchell, former tight end when I played at Michigan. Long time ago, I know, but this is a guy that played at Michigan. He went on. He's the only guy in the '87 Rose Bowl when we played Arizona. He's the only guy that came home with a trophy because he went to what do you call it? The Price is Right.
The Price is Right.
No kidding.
The Price is Right.
That's the truth. But this guy went on, and he was a writer. He wrote movies. He was all over the place. He came home with his family. He moved to Grand Rapids, and he owns this platform called Playbook, and he brought me over, and we sat down and talked about being in the NIL. It was relatively new. I wasn't sure, but when he showed me that app that you guys saw that Caden's on, I mean, it's great. It's great. As Braylon, you said, it's easy to show yourself. These young people get a chance, and we're doing it a different way than most people. We're not going for just football and basketball players. That's low-hanging fruit. But we're doing all 32 sports here at the University of Michigan, and we got a big table, and everybody's got to eat. I didn't say everybody's getting the same portions, but everybody's got to eat. And we want to make it out to everybody.
As they shouldn't, but everybody gets a chance to eat. That's the only thing that matters. Let us know how we can help you with that. Love to be a part of that. But bringing you in, man, 2 years in a row, the dominance of Michigan's offensive line and defensive line, especially in the second half. You know what? We're doing something later on in the show. We're doing the top 10 Michigan performances of the last 30 or 40 years or so in the game. And I have you on the list, 1986, 216 yards, 2 touchdowns. But that stat line sounds familiar because I believe I heard a similar stat line. Oh, wait, this past Saturday, 216, 2 touchdowns for Donovan Edwards. Talk about what he was able to do in that second half, reminding me a little bit of number 23 in Ann Arbor.
I mean, we needed a guy. We needed rushing yards, and this guy stepped up in the second half, Braylon. I don't know if you saw his hand and how
hard
he
to
had
miss
it
it
all padded up and everything like that. Seemed like he didn't want to get hit on it in the beginning, but look, as he got more in the game, and we only had 10 yards rushing at halftime. So this young man came in and stepped up, and if you watch Zach Zenner on that offensive line, that's my thing. I watch the offensive line. You want to see who won the game? Watch the offensive and defensive line. Michigan won that game handedly because of the way they treated that defensive line of the Ohio State Buckeyes.
Jamie, Braylon's been preaching about that for 2 years now, and that is winning that battle up front. How did Michigan turn this table over the last 2 years? I mean, COVID year aside in 2020,
what year?
A lot of people, a lot of Michigan fans thought Jim Harbaugh should have been removed as head coach in 2020. They were 2-4, probably would have whatever. They didn't play Ohio State in 2020, but if they did, it might have gotten ugly. In 2 short years, he has turned this thing completely around and now owns the series. This rivalry has completely flipped. How has he done that?
The coaching staff. The coaching staff. He brought a brand new coaching staff in, younger. They relate to the kids. Ron Bellamy, Mike Hart. I mean, these are guys that Braylon played with, so he knows those guys. But when you bring guys that are familiar with this rivalry, how to play at Michigan, how to act at Michigan, that's how you turn this program around. I get it. He had some great coaches here, but you got to have guys that have been in the trenches that can explain to these kids what it means to be a Michigan Wolverine. And that's exactly what he did. He's changed the whole coaching staff. He let friends go. He let people go that he pretty much loved. But he brought in a group that I did say that this team is going to win 10 games last year. But to go 12-0 this year, I mean, think about that. They lost a lot of good players, but they got a lot of young players in, and they've done a great job with these. The culture at Michigan is at an all-time high.
1,000%. Myself and Maz, we keep talking about in terms of Jim Harbaugh these last 2 years. He's been the best version of himself that he's ever been, Jamie. And I say that. I'm talking about that he's ever been. I'm talking about with the San Francisco 49ers. I'm talking about Stanford. I'm talking about he's the best version that he's ever been.
He's at peace.
And it took trusting.
And he's having fun.
He's having fun. It took trusting. But just going into it, you talk about a lot of things had to happen in this game. 2 big things for me. One, JJ had to make the throws that were there. He didn't have to do anything necessarily special, but he had to make the throws that were there, and you needed that person that you didn't know you needed to make that play. JJ made the throws, and Mike Sainristil made 3 plays that were amazing. Talk about JJ and Mike Sainristil.
Well, JJ made the throws. They've been doing it all year in practice, and nobody saw it on the field, but they knew that they could do it. But I'm going to give you one better. They went and got a version of Don Brown that didn't have help on those helping those corners out, and they stayed in that defense. Why not take advantage of it? And that's what JJ
Absolutely
did.
correct.
Mike Sainristil, a quarterback, a wide receiver who turns into a safety, and he is all over the field. You're right. I think he made the play of the game.
Yes.
Because if Ohio State scores that touchdown by that tight end, that game could just turn around. You brought the fans back in it. You give the hope to the Buckeyes, everything. But Mike Samuels still shut that down and shut it down quick. And as you can see, hey, Donovan went to work.
Hey, Jamie, just a quick one from me. How do you played before? How do you not overlook this Purdue team? I mean, they're coming from that West. Let's face it, last week was the real Big Ten championship. How do you not overlook this team? And, they're coached well, these guys, and once in a while they pull a surprise. Michigan will probably make the playoff either way, but you don't want to lose to these guys.
Maz, what's wrong with you, man?
Thank you, Jamie. Thank you, Jamie.
You better get your head on right.
Thank you, Jamie.
All right.
This right here, what are they called? They're not called. What is their nickname? The spoiler makers.
That's spoiler
exactly
makers.
What they want to do. They want you to come in not thinking about them. They want you to play a normal game. We got to come in hyped up, ready to play, and knock some heads off. If you don't, you're gonna get beat. You're gonna get beat.
Jamie, let me jump in for a second and jump on your side with this. Maz, you know what I just thought about? The reason why this game doesn't bother me whatsoever, and even though it's the Boilermakers, they come in and they try to upset. Like, for them, that would make their program. If they won the Big Ten championship. This would be their lifetime. This would be a lifetime achievement for them. But the thing that keeps me happy, and I know you would think the same thing, Jamie, is when you watch Michigan, all they talk about is jobs not done. All they talk about is next game, next man up. The players, whether it's JJ, whether it's Blake, whether it's Donovan, whether it's Mazi, whether it's Mike, whether it's Zenter, whether it's Jim Harbaugh, everybody talks about it's not done. So that's the one thing that gives me peace, where I'm like, we might be thinking about Georgia and TCU and USC, but they are not, and that's what gives me peace of mind.
I agree fully with you. And the way JJ, when he was in his press conference, threw that hat off on that desk and said, we're not done yet. When you got your leader saying that, saying the job's not over, and the kind of game he had, he should have been reveling in the success that he had.
True.
All he talked about was the job's not done. We still got to win the Big Ten championship, and we got other things we want to do. So when the leader says that, everybody's following his lead.
Hey, Jamie, I want to talk a little college football playoff with you, but before I do that, news of the day, the Mazi Smith situation. Ward Manuel says he will participate this week. He will continue to participate as a member of the team. Jim Harbaugh with a statement as well. Just your overall reaction to it.
Well, you got to know the kid, and this kid is truthful, honest. He's always been forthcoming. So I have no problem with Mazi. Mazi, he did the right thing. As soon as it happened, he went right to his head coach, went to the athletic director, reported it, talked about it. So you know it didn't even come up. And then you saw the press release from Ward, and you also saw what Jim Harbaugh said. Look, there's no problem. Mazi Smith is going to be good. And Braylon, I agree with you. Hey, this guy is going to play. And let me tell you something. He'll have the shield of the Michigan Wolverines on him. They'll do everything to help Mazi Smith out.
Jamie,
not to cut you off, Ron, I'm so sorry. Which is a key thing you just said. If you've known anything that's happened up in Ann Arbor over the past 25 years, anything that's come out that Michigan didn't believe to be in their best interest or didn't believe to be, you know what, this is the right thing, we're okay, they won't support you. Trust me, I know a lot of stories. Kevin Gray, I know a lot of stories where they were like, nah, we don't have nothing to do with this. I can name some names, but it's not about that. Michigan will not support you if they don't believe that it's something.
They don't believe in you.
100%. Like if they know that you did something wrong, they're gonna be like,
Yeah.
But if you, so that's another reason why I know this to be nothing, because Ward's supporting him.
Hey, Jamie, I know you got to get out of here, and really appreciate your time. Last question: does Michigan have to win a game in the playoff? Do they have to do it this year? I mean, obviously, national champ. I would never say the season is a failure if they don't win the national championship. But the way it's currently constructed, do they have to win a game for you to say, yeah, this thing's moving in the right direction?
Well, they want to show. Ryan, they got to show improvement. Yes, they got to win a game.
Yep.
And get to the championship game.
Yep.
That's what they have to do.
Yes, sir.
And it's Georgia or TCU or USC, whoever it is. Look, I'm excited because wherever they go, I'm going because I like the Fiesta Bowl. I do like I love Atlanta, so it doesn't matter where we go. I'm just gonna go and have a great time. And hey, remember, stadiuminmaine.org. That's our student athletes. You want to encourage them. Hey, get a shout out. Do all the things you can at Stadium in Maine. Go on and donate. Money goes to the student athletes.
Hey, Jamie, one thing before you leave, I want you to know this going into your show as well. Ian Rappaport has just reported that Blake Corum will have knee surgery, and he is out for the season. That is that's a tough pill to swallow if you're Michigan.
I mean, did you see the guy that backed him up?
I know.
I don't know if you saw that.
I did.
What I've been saying about Donovan Edwards
Okay.
Let's go, Jamie.
I'm sorry I brought it
Let's
up.
go, Jamie.
I'm sorry,
Let's
Jamie.
go, Jamie. Let's go, Jamie.
I am so sorry I brought it up. Breaking
Jamie,
news.
we've been trying to tell him about 7 for a long time.
Kamara. Alvin Kamara. That is Donovan Edwards. Remember that. Alvin
I like
Kamara.
that.
I love it.
I'm just telling you.
It's okay. We have to apologize.
He's got Braylon Edwards' hands, baby. He can.
Yeah, I haven't seen him drop anything.
Stadiuminmaine.org is the website. Go there for the student athletes. And Jamie, you're part of the Fox 2 pregame show on Friday, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
You'll see us.
Yes, sir.
We're part of it as well, man.
Michigan football, baby. It's a great time to be a Wolverine. Thanks, Jamie. We'll be listening to WTKA on Twitter. You got at Jay Morris 23. Good stuff there. We do want to react to the Donovan, not the Donovan Edwards, the Blake Corum stuff. We'll do that next. But first, a message from SMA. Maz, I love you, man.
I love you too, man. The Sports Marketing Agency has helped to spread awareness about mental health as well as substance abuse. Listen, it is okay to not be okay, but when that's the case, you got to know where to get the info from. Where can I find out some of these things? Where can I see some of these mental stresses that I'm going through? Some of these anxiety, these depressions, the things that I feel. How do I get outlet? Well, look no further. Sean Jordan does an amazing job of giving the content as well as the conversation at thesportsma.com. Thesportsma.com. All the answers, all the questions you need right now.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
When it comes to making your haircut truly an experience, there's no better place than Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to any one of our 26 Metro Detroit locations for an award-winning haircut experience and qualify for a chance to win a down payment for your dream home up to $200,000. Our precision haircut and talented stylists will have you looking good, feeling good, and give you a chance to change your life forever. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey guys, I don't know if you've ever had this Cousin's Maine lobster. They come around with the truck.
So good.
The food is outstanding, and we are proud now that Woodward Sports is brought to you by Cousins Maine Lobster in Detroit. Check out their food trucks rolling around the city, offering the tastiest lobster rolls, lobster tacos, and more. I had the lobster mac and cheese, and I had the lobster bisque. Outstanding. Let me tell you that. Go to cousinsmainelobster.com right now. Search locations to find the Detroit schedule or download the app to order ahead and earn points. Cousins Maine Lobster.
Where did that New Jersey accent all of a sudden come from? When you were doing that read.
Did it really?
Yes. Like the first question, he was like, "Get your lobster." Like, I was like, "Whoa!"
I just talked.
I had my head down writing notes, and it hit me. I was like,
"I'll tell you, man."
That must be Mavs from when he was about 16, 17.
I've been here just short of 30 years, and
never leaves you.
I have been Michigan. There's no doubt about it. I go home, and they're like, "Who the hell are you?"
Yeah.
They're like, "What happened to you? What happened to you?" I'm
but
like,
then
"What do
when
you
you
mean?"
leave and come back, it's
It comes
fully
back
on
a
you.
little.
Right?
Yeah, like when I go home for Christmas, I'll come back here. I'll have a little more of my accent.
You definitely were fully New Jersey.
I didn't mean it. I can promise you that.
Guys, Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, WoodwardSports.com, Fox2Detroit.com. Bit of breaking news over the last couple of minutes. Ian Rappaport reporting that Michigan running back Blake Corum, as Maz had mentioned, expected to have knee surgery, out for the season. Heisman Trophy candidate should make a full recovery. He tried to play last week versus Ohio State, but his knee made it impossible. Love Blake Corum. Absolutely a Heisman candidate. I will say, this may be unpopular, okay? I think this forces the Michigan coaching staff to play a different brand of football, where you don't pound it up the middle and try to be tougher than the next guy.
Right.
Where you use your student athletes and you put your athletes in a position to win you football games. By the way, Donovan Edwards, on his 2 long touchdowns, pretty much up the middle runs. I mean, zero safety, whatever. But
off
tackle, yeah. Either way, what I'm trying to tell you is this maybe doesn't put the Michigan coaches in a really, really conservative mindset to play a Georgia, to play a TCU. Because I got news for you. TCU is a tough football team. TCU has played the toughest schedule in America. Go look at. They have more top 25 wins than anybody in America.
Do you believe in those teams, though? Like, by the numbers, you're absolutely correct.
Yeah,
Ryan, do you believe in those teams?
I don't know, Bray. I mean, I think this is like one of the most sporadic college football years I've seen in a long time.
I give you a hint. We know that Penn State, that comes from our division, our conference, is ranked 8. We in the Big Ten know Penn State is not an 8.
Either way, I think they've got a good quarterback and they've got a good coach.
Agreed.
They're an 8 this year. You know why? Because no one is that good.
And they've got a good defense.
Might be very factual.
They've got a good defense, a good coach, and I don't want to look past Purdue, whatever. We're looking past Purdue. Sue us.
Yeah,
right.
Not our job.
I'm looking ahead to TCU, and I'm thinking to myself, I like when JJ does an RPO. I like when JJ rolls out. I like when JJ slings it around a little bit, because I think if you play Georgia in the national championship game, you are not going to play bully ball against them and win it.
You'll have a month to practice.
Yeah, you are going to have to change the way you play football, and maybe the game plan against Ohio State was the start of it. But you can't just run the ball on first down, run the ball on second down, run the ball on third down, and see where you end up after 3 downs like that.
Right, but you're passing up one thing. You're missing your best player. 1A or 1B. You're missing your best player. So now Ohio State had to maybe think that Blake was going to play. They knew he wasn't going to play after the first couple of minutes. But at least they had to prepare for him. Now all these other teams are like, okay, if we can stop Donovan Edwards, then who are they going to go to? I'm just saying. It's a big loss.
It's a loss.
It's a big loss.
Is it my turn yet?
Go ahead,
no, are you guys about to go at it?
No, go ahead.
I was only because it looked like you guys about to have a little back and forth.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
So first and foremost, it is a big loss. But this is Blake Corum. This is the guy we've been talking about being the catalyst on offense all year long. This is the guy that we started talking about as a Heisman Trophy candidate before the season started and all the way into the late into the season. So this is a big loss for Michigan. With that being said, the way in which this injury has happened has been good for Michigan in terms of the best that it could be. He gets hurt legitimately before the Ohio State game. They kind of had to go knowing to that. They had to know going into the Ohio State game, Blake's probably not going to be of use. We'll see. We'll give it the go. We'll give him a shot, blah, blah, blah. We'll pray. If he doesn't go, we'll start to put together a game plan that's beneficial with him not in there. And you saw that game plan unfold in Ohio State, of all places, where they had success, and then you saw what the defense was able to do. JJ was allowed to see some passes being complete, past 5 yards, past 10 yards. He was allowed to see guys getting into the end zone. So I think Michigan's very confident that he can play without Blake Corum. If you look at any other team outside of Georgia, Maz and Ryan, like USC is not the same team Michigan is, with the exception of a quarterback. Max Duggan is a good quarterback for TCU, but that team is not constructed like Michigan is from the defensive side as well as the offensive line side as well as the physical and the toughness side of things. Michigan is just fine. And now you'll have a Purdue game where you'll get the chance to let JJ pass the ball a little bit, see some intermediate passing, get the ball down the field, let him enjoy the rhythm that he's on since the Ohio State game. Then you have time to construct a game plan how you want to approach TCU January 1st. What are you going to attack about TCU January 1st? How are you going to take advantage of the things that TCU has shown you on film against Texas Tech, where they should have lost, against a Baylor team, and other wins in the season where they struggled against Big 12 teams? I think Michigan is a good place right now with their team feeling confident, even with Blake Corum, which is a tremendous loss. But with that being said, they're much better than the other teams with the exception of Georgia. And I think they're in a good place overall to come up with a game plan from now to January 1st.
It still sucks.
Yeah, no, it sucks,
It
right?
sucks, but you know what? You go negative to neutral. In life, you don't say, oh, you know what, turn a bad situation good. You can't turn a negative situation bad. You go negative to neutral. The negative to neutral is, okay, boom, Blake Corum gets injured. But now what do we have? Oh, we saw Donovan Edwards against Ohio State. We know that we have other players. We know that we have other game plans. And now we've seen J.J. McCarthy get the ball down the field. We know we can pass. It sucks, but you move on because you are one of the best brands, if not the best brand in football.
I just want to say this.
Yeah.
Ohio State didn't have Jackson Smith and Jigba. They didn't have Mayan Williams. But they still had Marvin Harrison and all the rest of those guys. Trevion Henderson, all of them. They still lost.
Right.
Because the two best players weren't available.
Michigan have their two best players. Master, what are you saying?
I'm saying that you lost your bell cow.
They didn't have him against Ohio State, and they still won.
But Ohio State didn't have their guys.
And Michigan didn't have Mike Morris. He's the number one.
Hey, listen, I can go back and forth in history with you. The Giants won the Super Bowl with Jeff Hostetler. They didn't have Phil Simms.
I know that.
And they beat the Bills.
I understand that.
Okay, I know it can happen. I'm just saying it's hard. That's all.
Well, just say that, because the first thing I said, man, is I was on your side. Like, I legitimately said, yo, that's a huge loss. But then I talked about how they can win. Yeah, I know about Jeff Hostetler and Phil Simms and all that. I get that. I get it. Doug Williams and Joe Theismann. Yeah. I can go history with you as well. But with that said, Michigan is in the best place.
The Eagles.
Best place for where it happened is what I'm saying. Michigan's in that best place for Blake Corum where it happens.
So, and again, this could be semantics here, but the reason why I call Blake Corum a loss and not a big loss is because I think even without Blake Corum, the Michigan Wolverines can win the national championship. I think a big loss to me is somebody that you lose where those expectations change, and that's J.J. McCarthy. If Michigan lost J.J. McCarthy, they can't win the national championship. Their season is over. They probably lose to Purdue. In fact, maybe. I don't know.
Not that bad.
Probably not that bad.
Well, they don't have Cade anymore because he's out for the year.
And that's the problem.
And he's transferred.
And I kind of feel like, the backup player is Donovan Edwards. And the backup player is every bit as good, if not even better, than the player that they're losing.
He's a unicorn.
It sucks that they lost Blake Corum, but my expectation does not change. My feeling about the team does not change. So I can't consider that a big loss.
Okay.
Is that fair?
I agree with you 100%. I mean, Stokes is a serviceable running back, and we haven't seen him in a full size. Who knows what Stokes brings to the table? Gash, he dropped the pass against Illinois, but he's a guy that they also feel really good about. So they got a couple guys to back Donovan Edwards up. Not to mention they have Donovan Edwards. They have Donovan Edwards. So we'll see what happens with the Michigan coaching staff, especially on the offensive side, of how they game plan for Purdue and moving forward to TCU. But I just think it happened at the best time. If this happens with Blake Corum, if this happens as they're training for TCU, or if this happens if this happens in the Purdue game, Ryan and Ermanni, where you don't have that sample size against Ohio State and what it looks like without Blake Corum, then we're kind of like, ooh, this is tough. How will they be able to be? What will the passing game be like? How will they balance the running back field? But the fact that we saw that in Columbus, I think that's why we're so confident.
Yeah. So, again, that's part of the story today.
It sucks, though.
Yeah, it does. It does. And it sucks for him.
Does he come back now? Does he come back or does he leave?
He's coming back.
It's curious for a running back, man. It is, because the running back shelf life is so short in the NFL. You got to go early, right? I mean, another year of carries, another year of wear and tear doesn't set you up for a second contract.
Right,
really,
if he comes back next year and wins the Heisman, he will go no higher than he would this year.
Yeah,
Donovan Edwards might win the Heisman next year.
There's not, but I'm just Maz,
I'm just saying he'll have competition. That's all I'm saying.
Oh my God, Maz, I'm just saying for a simple fact, it's a what if. You always throw some random.
No, I'm not looking to fight. I'm just.
But then why throw it in there? It didn't matter.
Okay.
Blake Corum could come back and win the Heisman next year, and it would not place him any higher than if he came out this year off a knee injury. The NFL scouts know what Blake Corum can do. They know what type of running back he is. They know how fast he is when he's at his best. They know how strong he is. So nothing would change that next year if he came back. I asked the question, but in my mind, nothing changes if he comes back and wins the Heisman. So if I was him, I still would come out the show even with the injury.
NIL has become the great equalizer to decide whether or not you want to stay or whether or not you want to go. Look, Jordan Addison at USC makes more money than Amon-Ra St. Brown for the Detroit Lions. So that can happen. It is something to consider now.
Hunter Dickinson
moving forward. Hunter Dickinson for the Michigan basketball team. The only reason he is playing at Michigan right now is because of NIL. And he is making more money at Michigan by playing for the Wolverines than he would as a second-round draft pick that's bouncing back and forth to the G League. It's just where we are. So it has become the great equalizer. I would say that, you look at a guy like DeAndre Swift, an injured player in college is an injured player in the NFL. At the running back position, it's just a tough spot to be in. Look at Ezekiel Elliott. Now, he got paid, but Ezekiel Elliott went from an absolute beast in the NFL to one day, all of a sudden, real quick, by the way. So what I'm trying to say is that the shelf life in the NFL at the running back position is extremely small. So you got to go get your money and get your clock when you can.
This is true. Those carries add up. Those carries add up. You look at Ezekiel Elliott, 3 years at Ohio State. I mean, he's carrying the ball upwards of 275 times a year. Now in the NFL, his first 5 years, he was carrying the ball upwards of 350, 370 times a year. Those carries, man, those nicks, those bruises, those dings, they start to bother you. And then with Blake was injured last year. We saw Blake go through some injuries last year. Here you go. He's injured again this year. So, Blake, I wish you nothing but the best and full health. You are a great leader. Want him to stay safe. The best bet for you is to go to the NFL now.
Guys, want to talk to you about the Rose Bowl. The last roadblock to clear the way for the 12-team playoff has now been removed. We'll tell you what the Rose Bowl did, why they did it, and what's next coming up. But first, a message from the Folding Warehouse.
Well, yes, sir. In Hamtramck, Michigan, a great game of football and bowling called Foley. If you've never played it, you got to give it a try. 2 ways to play: $12 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation. 10 or 12 people on a lane. You get it for 2 hours, and it runs you $120. They got a great beer menu, many full bars there as well. Over 100 beers they offer, plus the $2 mystery beer machine. You can bring your own food in or even have it delivered. Get your Fold on at foldingwarehouse.com.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff a Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff a Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
For a limited time only, all new burgers and loaded fries at Big Boy. It's not a Slim Jim, it's the Big Jim. The chili cheese is such a tease. Guess what else is new? The bacon blue. How about upgrading those fries? Chili cheese fries, baked potato fries, nacho fries. What will it be? Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
What's going on, everybody? JB here.
Hey, JB.
Hey, what's going on, Ryan? What's going on,
JB?
Braylon? I'm here letting you guys know about Planet Fitness and how they are our official studio sponsor here at Woodward Sports. But also, they're home to the Judgment Free Zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere for just $10 a month.
Only $10?
Yeah, $10 a month, man. Ryan, you got to get on there right now. But also, why don't you do yourself a favor and upgrade to the Black Card with unlimited guest privileges, that hydro massage, and so much more. Join In Club today, or you can always check them out at planetfitness.com.
Hey, now, guys, we have a surprise guest coming up at 3 o'clock. In the meantime, I do want to talk about this Rose Bowl situation as a college football enthusiast, long-time fan of the Rose Bowl.
Always tune it on at 5 o'clock on New Year's Day.
It is for 100 years, it feels like a tradition. 5 o'clock, you get the Rose Bowl on ABC, now on ESPN.
Used to be on NBC.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, he's been
Dick Enberg used to do the game.
Dick Enberg, Central Michigan's own.
Yes, sir.
They were the final roadblock to get the 2 years, move the college football playoff expansion up 2 years. And they have said, okay, we want in. So the Rose Bowl has signed an agreement that will allow the college football playoff to expand to 12 teams beginning in 2024, paving the way for $450 million windfall for the college football playoff revenue. Now, this is interesting because they have to give up their time slot. That was the last real sticking point.
Yep.
Right? The Rose Bowl people, very traditional. Yeah. We want to play our game January 1st at 5 o'clock exclusive.
Let's put that Dennis Dodd tweet up there now, Fletch, on the Rose Bowl.
And they're basically saying no.
Yeah.
You can't play exclusively at 1 o'clock on January 1st. Do you want to be a part of this or not? And so they are going to be a part of this.
Billy Ball.
Yeah, so there you have it. So the Rose Bowl's in. They're not going to be playing Braylon in their spot. But this is, I think this to me is good for college football because everybody wants more games. At least I do.
Everybody wants more games, and everybody wants those games to be recognizable and be big games. They wanted some semblance of the past. You know, you have the Rose Bowl, what the Rose Bowl was. Look, the Rose Bowl will never be what it once was. I remember walking to that Rose Bowl stadium with Eric Campbell, my wide receivers coach suit, and pointing to those names etched in stone on the side of the stadium. Those were all the MVPs of all the Rose Bowl games, whether it was Warren Moon, whether it was Keyshawn Johnson, whether it was Tyrone Wheatley, whether it was, and the list goes on, O.J. Simpson. I wanted to be on that wall. 3 touchdowns and we lose by, a last-second field goal, so didn't quite make it, but it was the tradition. But at least now, sometimes in life you have to go along, and it is what it is. Like at the highest levels, sometimes in life you have to go along to be successful. You have to go along to stay adrift. You have to go along to keep your brand out here so people can keep recognizing it. And this is just one of those decisions where football is moving and college football is moving on with or without the Rose Bowl. So the Rose Bowl say, you know what, rather be a part of it and move on with you than you guys forget about us, take our time slot, and who knows the Rose Bowl to become a sham. So glad that they at least are a part of it, so you still have them.
This is how the college football playoff will shake out. This from Dan Wetzel, by the way. The first round of the playoff in 2024 will take place the week ending Saturday, December 21st. At the higher-seeded home field or at a site of their choosing locally.
Okay.
If
you want to play at Ford Field.
If Michigan wanted to play at Ford Field that weekend, there you go. I would doubt that, but either way.
Understand.
If Cincinnati made it, they want to play at a bigger venue.
Indiana wants to play at Lucas Oil
exactly.
Stadium. Right.
Something like that. So those games, again, Saturday, December 21st. And then the semifinal games, the 4 games after that, are played at the Sugar Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Rose Bowl, the Peach Bowl, and the Fiesta Bowl. That's the rotation.
Okay.
And then the championship games in Atlanta in 25 and in Miami in 26. So you will get the 5, 6, 7, 8 team will get a home playoff game.
Nice.
In December.
When did Chick-fil-A when did the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl sneak up in there and become an important bowl? Because I remember the very first time I heard Chick-fil-A at 100% money, because they were like a non-important bowl. It would be like Marshall playing Clemson back in the day. Like now all of a sudden, whenever you hear Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl or Peach Bowl, you know that's going to be a good game, or you know it's a game that decides something. And it's typically one of the SEC teams because they're down there in Georgia and SEC country. Like, when did that happen?
And you know what also could happen? The Quick Lane Bowl.
Never.
Don't sleep on it.
Never.
Do not sleep on it. The national championship game was played in
Indy. Who's going to play? Who's going to be in that? Michigan State versus CMU?
Just saying, Detroit is a potential landing spot for the playoff for the national champion. Do not sleep on that. Now, I don't know when it is.
We got the final.
But do you know what plays in the Quick Lane Bowl? Right now, the Quick Lane Bowl is always
MAC.
Yeah, it's like the MAC champion versus like the number
Big Ten team.
Exactly.
If there is enough Big Ten qualifiers, but you know what
they will play Michigan State this year.
You know what the great equalizer in that is?
Money.
I'm just telling you.
The last time I checked, I think GM's got a lot of money. So does Ford,
and so does UWM.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And don't forget about your boy, the original OG that still owns all of downtown Detroit, Dan Gilbert.
The original
he's still
OG.
the OG.
Well, the original
I went on a
OG.
tour with Bedrock, and they took on this beautiful tour in 2019. Take you kind of like show you Detroit's vision for the future, and it was dope. It was beautiful. They show you the Hudson Center. They show you a couple of the things that are coming on. But they dropped this stat on you real quick. It says that Bedrock, aka Dan Gilbert, he owns 142 out of 167 buildings in downtown Detroit.
That's it.
142 out of 167. Jeez Louise.
Dang.
Here, you have Detroit.
Right. There you go. At a time when nobody else wanted it.
It's true.
Right? I wanted to bring this up as well. If the season ended today, if the college football expansion was today, here's how it would look. Georgia, Michigan, SC, and TCU would get the byes. Then you would have Tennessee and Kansas State playing, Alabama and Utah playing, Ohio State and Washington, Clemson and Penn State. I love it. I don't know. Especially this year. I'm not sure I'm not sure Washington, Ohio State, Clemson, or Penn State. I don't know.
After what I saw in Ohio State, Washington will be an interesting game. I think Michael Penix Jr., he's given them the fits before when he was Indiana. That would be an interesting game. I probably would go with Ohio State, but you don't know after what you saw. You don't know where Ohio State's mindset would be after that Michigan game. But I like Penn State over Clemson. I'll take Washington over Ohio State, Alabama over Utah, Tennessee over Kansas State.
The only thing that would suck over the college football playoff expansion is that Michigan would be not getting a home game, essentially, as a bye.
Right. Yeah.
They would just
neutral site.
Go play the.
You want to play the extra game? We'll let you.
No,
play the
I don't want to play the extra game. I don't want to play the extra game. But who would like to see Michigan play an extra game is television networks. Let me put this stat up for you. Obviously, you saw that Michigan and Ohio State drew 17 million over the weekend. The next biggest game was 6.7 million. USC and Notre Dame, Florida and Florida State both had 6.5 million, so to speak. The Michigan-Ohio State game drew more than 10 million viewers more than any other college football game that weekend. Incredible, my friends. Auburn, Alabama, for as many people that believe that's a huge game, 6 million. What's that tell you?
That Michigan is a brand. That Ohio State is a brand. Like Braylon said, like you said, it's a TV show. If it's close, they're going to give the nod to the big man.
17 million is a lot of viewers. I don't know if people realize how many 17 million is. And it wasn't a conference championship game. It's Ohio State, Michigan. It's not a conference championship game. It's not a national championship game. What are the national championship rankings? That would be good. What do they get it in terms of what were the viewership for Georgia and Alabama last year in the national championship game? Are we floating? Are we talking 50s, 70s, 60s, 40s? Because I would like to see how that 17 million stacks up against that.
No doubt about it. Also, I want to make mention that Brian Hartline, Ohio State wide receiver coach, a very crucial
He's the guru.
Coach, too, to do all their recruiting, is going to be interviewing for the head coaching job at Cincinnati. I think this is great for Cincinnati. I think he'd be a slam dunk hire at Cincinnati.
You think the Ohio State would let him go? Or do you think they would say, hey, Ryan Day, take a hike, we're keeping Brian Hartline?
Well, if they don't let him go, then he's got a poor agent where you can't leave for a head coaching job.
No, what I'm saying is, do you think Ohio State would let Ryan Day go and keep Hartline as their head coach?
No.
Yeah, but that's not going to keep Brian Hartline. For where Brian Hartline is sitting, and I actually know Brian Hartline is he's a great family man. Only thing that sucks is he went to Ohio State. But great guy. You're talking about a guy that wants to make that next mark for himself. Yeah. He wants to take over that Cincy job. He's a guy that believes that he has the cachet. He can get recruits. You see what he's done with those wide receivers there at Ohio State. This is a domino, though. If you're watching Ohio State, start to fold before your eyes. You watched last year. You watched this year in the Michigan game. You see how the fan base is now coming after Ryan Day. You see that Brian Hartline is now going to go to Cincinnati, and the biggest
cracks in the
Ohio
armor.
State's biggest strength in the last 3 years since they've gone finesse route, no longer the defensive line, no longer the safety and the secondary linebackers, is wide receivers. And now your wide receiver guru, the guru of go, if you will, that guy's leaving your program. This is one of the biggest selling points to young wide receivers coming in at 18 years old. So it's going to be interesting what happens with Ohio State in these next year. I think this is the fall for Ohio State. Every school goes through it at some point. I think it might just be Ohio State's time.
do I have time to get to this Rose Bowl story too, Braylon? Did you see what Ohio State told the Rose Bowl, by the way?
I did.
I was shocked by this. Maybe I shouldn't be, but I was shocked by this. So if the Buckeyes land on number 5 on Sunday, the Rose Bowl is strongly considering taking Penn State instead of Ohio State this year because the Buckeyes have asked the Rose Bowl to take Penn State instead of them. You want to talk about the only – we talked about this yesterday. If you are not in the college football playoff, nothing else matters. Right. Nothing else is relevant. I mean, when you are asking to not go to the Rose Bowl, to me, that just says everything.
Yeah, but what are you talking about? It says everything about Ohio State's program. It says everything about what the Rose Bowl. With the Rose Bowl.
Yeah.
The Rose Bowl no longer has that cachet.
Yeah.
It's no longer that deal. It's no longer the end all be all. It's no longer that destination. Oh yeah, we're in the Rose Bowl. Hey, everybody tune in on January 1st on ABC at 1. We're in the Rose Bowl. It's no longer that. And Ohio State just played in the Rose Bowl and it meant nothing. If you look at that game last year between Ohio State and Utah, I mean, it was great games number-wise. I mean, it went down to the wire. Jackson Smith and Jigba had like 700 touchdowns or something like that. But nobody watched that game. It was it didn't make sense. And I think Ohio State's looking at it from that standpoint. We don't want to be in that situation again. Let's do something different.
Yeah, I saw that and was really shocked at that because, it does give you an opportunity to evaluate your own the way you think about things, right? I mean, for a guy like me, all I think about is, the Rose Bowl would be yippee, the Rose Bowl, and then you're like, man, these kids don't care about the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, but you know what? You get to go eat those awesome steaks. What's that? The beef bowl that they have out there.
At Lowry's.
Eat it at Lowry's and all kinds of other good stuff. Man, whatever.
They do that everywhere.
I gotta take this call. Okay.
All right, you take that call. We're gonna take a break. Come right back. We'll talk some Lions. Try to get a guest on the line here, but we'll do it all next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. Thinking of a new Cadillac? Les Stanford will take care of your first payment. That's right. Your first payment is on Les. Plus, Les Stanford has $500 in cyber cash on all Chevys. Time to treat yourself at Les Stanford in Dearborn. Go to lesstanford.com. lesstanford.com. Find new roads.
Find them.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Downtown Detroit is all decked out this holiday season with the return of the Cadillac Lodge. Cadillac Lodge is back,
JB?
Yeah, the Cadillac Lodge is back, along with the Monroe Street Midway. Now, the Midway has the giant slide, those winter bumper cars, and, of course, that indoor arcade. But you can always grab a drink at the Lodge before or after any Wings, Piston, or Lions home game. Hey, you might need it this weekend. We don't know. But shop, eat, and play downtown all winter long with Decked Out Detroit, and you can always check them out at deckedoutdetroit.com.
Decked out, baby. Decked out. That's right. You know what time it is. Hour number 2 of the program here. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We got Fletch. We got JB. Welcome if you're watching on woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com as well, or the Fox 2 News app. However you are consuming Woodward Sports, we certainly appreciate that. Our mystery guest today, our surprise guest, is for Braylon Edwards today.
Is that right?
It is his brother-in-law, Marcus Pollard. He is the Jags director of player development. He's with us now.
You dirty dog. What's up, bro? Man, just imagine being a rookie. Just imagine being a freshman, University of Michigan, and your first year. You guys go 12-0. You beat Penn State by 20+. You beat Michigan State by 20+. You beat Ohio State and Columbus by 20+. You're number 2 in the country as a freshman. Man, I'm so proud of Mike and those Michigan Wolverines. I don't know what the hell to do, man.
I think we're on mute.
Marcus, you're muted.
You're muted, Marcus.
Let's start again.
He heard us.
He heard us.
He heard us.
Oh, look at that sunshine, too. Now he's showing off.
That's that Florida.
Now he's showing off with that sunshine.
Can we hear you? Not yet.
Uh-oh.
Dang.
We get it, bro. We'll get
it in. But I'll tell you this much. So Braylon and I.
Oh man, it's crazy. We gotta get him in.
Yeah, we'll get him in. Braylon and I do this thing in Ann Arbor, right? We're emceeing an event for Mott Children's Hospital. We go down to the field. We go down to the locker room. We do all this thing. And one of the first place we go to in the locker room is to
Micah's locker.
How cool is that?
It's amazing, just to see the lineage, from my dad and to me and then to Berkeley and then to see Micah's name in that locker room. It's something about seeing your name in those colors and those letters, the amazing blue, and then seeing that winged helmet behind it. So it was amazing to see him. He's having an amazing rookie year. Tweaked his ankle a little bit in the Illinois game, but he's having an amazing year, and he loves it up there. Michigan's got his core set of friends, so just happy he actually came over on Thanksgiving as well, since he's only right up the street. Had to make sure he was fed.
That's right. It's so fun too, because now you think as a freshman, that's what you should be doing every year.
It's the golden standard.
Right? You think that's an annual trip to Indianapolis. You think that's an annual trip to the college football playoff.
But you prepare that way. You train in the off season for that moment. You go through winter conditioning. You go through the weight room. You go through the gauntlet that is training camp. You go through the gauntlet that is spring ball. One of the most grueling processes at Michigan is going through spring ball. Those morning wake-ups on Saturday are like no other. To go through all that. But now you know what it's for. You've seen it pay off. It's one thing when a coach, imagine the coach trying to tell you for the first time, hey, this is what it's going to be like. This is what it's going to be like when you beat Ohio State. This is what it's going to feel like when you win in Indianapolis. This is what it's going to feel like when you play in the playoffs. Well, the hell with that. They know what it feels like. So they want that moment forever. You know what I'm saying? They want this forever. It's much like, Lil Wayne and Kanye and all that on the song, Forever. You want this moment forever. And you train like it, you prepare like it, and you treat every moment like it so that you don't ever be without that moment.
All right, so we'll see if we can get Marcus Pollard, former Lion, former Colt, now the current director of player development with the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, and by the way, they're playing the Lions this week.
Yeah, they do play the Lions this week. It is a matchup of two teams that believe they're both on the rise, and I think they're doing so. You look at what Jacksonville has done with the number one overall pick a couple of years ago in Trevor Lawrence, the number one overall pick this year with Trayvon Walker. And this quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, is playing lights-out football, 6 touchdowns, no interceptions in the last 3 games. And, oh, yeah, by the way, they just came back from down double digits in the second half and beat the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah, they got weapons, too. They got guys. I mean, I don't know the level of Travis Etienne. Always been a fan of his. I think he's arguably the best running back in ACC history, just stat-wise, if you look at what he did his time there. But they got weapons. Zay Jones comes over from the Las Vegas Raiders. You also have Christian Kirk. He comes over in a big deal that a lot of people were frowning about from the Arizona Cardinals. Now you got Trevor Lawrence some weapons. Now you got some guys that he feels confident in. Now you see him to make some throws. He made a super, super, super nice throw. It was in the back right corner of the end zone in the fourth quarter to Zay Jones. And he put it just where Zay Jones can catch the ball. It was out of the reach of the defender and put it right in there in his chest. He's getting confidence. And what you love, Ryan and Monty, but what's very dangerous if you're going against it, it's very dangerous to go against a young quarterback that's getting confidence. You saw Justin Fields earlier in the year starting to figure it out, being able to run the ball. You see this guy now starting to figure it out. When guys figure it out, they instantly revert back to that place when it last worked. And Trevor Lawrence, for him, when it last worked, well, he's winning national championships at Clemson. He was being talked about as the best quarterback in college football. He's being talked about as a game changer and a potential generational talent at quarterback. He's getting back into that bag. You as the Detroit Lions got to get to him early and often. You got to get to him early and often to take that away from him mentally.
And they've got a guy, too, that seems to be a pretty special back in Travis Etienne.
Got hurt last week, hurt his ankle, left after the first few minutes of that game, and they benched him the rest of the game. They said he would be all right. I only know all of this because he's my fantasy running back. But they say he is 100% and he'll play this week. He is a handful and he wears that number 1, Bray.
He's a damn good running back. And, it looked like he could go last when he came back, but Hasty was running pretty good for them, so they decided to back off, run the ball with Hasty. So that's good to it's not good for the Detroit Lions, but good for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Travis Etienne does it in and out of the backfield. He can catch in the backfield. He can catch out of the backfield. He can run screens. He has good hands. He can go outside, match up on your linebacker, and just run go routes or just run slants, actually run receiver routes. Travis Etienne creates that matchup nightmare. And also for Trevor Lawrence. Also for Trevor Lawrence, he's a guy, he's building up that confidence. Confidence is key. Confidence is key. Confidence is key.
We'll try to get back with Marcus Pollard. We'll do that next. What do you want me to do here, Fletch? Just break? We'll get to a break. We'll come right back. We'll have Marcus Pollard next.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff-A Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff-A Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
Hi, I'm John from Better Rate Mortgage, and to me, family is more than blood. That's why I have the biggest family in Metro Detroit. If you're looking to buy a house or refinance and need a loan, come get treated better than family by me and our entire team here at Better Rate Mortgage. We pride ourselves on giving you better advice, better service, and a better loan experience. That's why we are Better Rate. If you're looking for a new mortgage, come get treated like family. Actually, better with Better Rate Mortgage. Visit us at mybetterrate.com or call at 248-480-4467 today.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, who've had a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
At Alta.
Up time.
Time matters. All the equipment has everything.
Right now,
always
man,
gets the job done. If you got a big project coming up, give Alta Rental a call and do it today. Call them at 844-GO-TO-ALTA. That's 844-GO, the number 2, Alta.
Obviously, we liked him. I liked him. But I mean, he was a big, physical, powerful player, and we liked him going into the draft. But I will say this: I love the one we got.
And that was Todd Walsh talking about the differences between the number 1 overall pick, Trayvon Walker, and the number 2 overall pick, Aiden Hutchinson. I think both teams are pretty satisfied with who they ended up with. And let's bring in Braylon's brother-in-law, who just happens to be the director of player development for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Take 2.
The father of Michael Pollard.
There we go. I heard the clap.
We got you.
I heard
We got you.
now?
Yes.
We can hear you now, Verizon.
He's outside the building.
So you heard everything I said already. So just go from that last moment. He literally has that as his freshman year, and now here we are, 12-0, going to the Big Ten championship. Couldn't be prouder of him or Michigan. How does that feel as a first-year dad, man?
Listen, I tell you, that whole week against Ohio State, I was wearing Michigan gear. And I was getting hazed every day about wearing Michigan gear. You didn't go to Michigan? What you doing? Man, I said I got blood at Michigan.
100%.
So to see him and this team come together like they have and to go undefeated in his freshman year, it's like, man, it can't get any better. Don't get any better. The only thing get better now is to win the national championship. And to be on a team like this and to be coached as well as they're being coached and playing as hard as they're playing, to be at this point, I couldn't be a happier dad or a sports fan.
Here's a good question for you, Marcus. A lot of places that, Micah had a lot of offers from the SEC. Micah had a lot of offers that his friends, other people might have looked at and said, are you going to turn these down and go up there to Michigan? I mean, Michigan they can't even beat Ohio State. What is it finally that made Mike ultimately go to Michigan, and now all those people got to eat crow?
Yeah, like you said, Bray, you were there with us the entire time, and you went through the experience yourself in choosing a school. But Mike is very smart. He's intelligent. He wasn't just looking to go to SEC school just to go play football. Micah took the whole package about education, alumni base, great football program, academics, and he took into account all of that.
Yes,
so to me,
sir.
for him, it was an easy choice in choosing Michigan. Once he got that off, he's like, okay, Dad, Michigan was one of his top five schools he wanted to attend. And so when he finally got that off from Michigan, he's like, that's it. I know where I'm going already. And so the rest of it was just a formality. He was waiting just to see, how he really felt about it, talking to Coach Harbaugh, having Jim and Coach Hilo come down to the house and continue recruiting him. And the thing that Mike kept talking about was like, Dad, Michigan recruited me. They didn't recruit you. And that was big for him, not just because Jim and I had a relationship from when we played, but they recruited him. And I thought that was important, and he did too.
Talking to Marcus Pollard, father of Michigan freshman Micah Pollard, also his day job, the director of player development for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Oh, yeah, we played
who
them this
happened
week,
to
right?
play the Detroit Lions this week. Marcus, just big picture, size up where Jacksonville is as an organization right now. You bring in a new coach. You've got a shiny new piece in the number 1 overall pick, Trayvon Walker. You got to feel good about who you got there. Another number 1 overall pick in Trevor Lawrence. Your program is really moving along over there, is it not?
Yes, it is. And hats off to Mr. Khan and Brett Balke, our general manager. To have those selections, it's kind of hard to miss on those two guys. Both are once-in-a-lifetime talent in Trevor Lawrence and Trayvon, and to have those guys on this team doing the things that they're doing to help us win football games is important because we don't want to be picking 1 overall nowhere in the near future. So we'll let somebody else have that 1 overall pick. That means we're winning football games. And I think the guys that we've selected so far are doing a tremendous job.
Yeah, talk about Trevor Lawrence. Obviously, last year he struggled a little bit with that regime down there. We don't need to talk about that. But talk about how important it is. Hey, we don't have to talk about that. We don't have to talk about that guy. It happened. It's over with. But just talk about how important it is to get a guy like that weapons. The thing that he had when he was in Clemson, he had weapons. The guys that he had in Clemson, and one of those weapons happens to be in that backfield for him now, Travis Etienne. Talk about Zay Jones, Christian Kirk, and Travis Etienne.
Yeah, I mean, he's got weapons. That's the one thing that I have to give hats off to again for Trent Balke and our scouting department, personnel department, because they really went out and really made some really sound free agent decisions for us to give Travis an opportunity to get weapons around guys that can help him look good and make him play well. And that's what we've done. Having Travis in the backfield with him is very comforting. And spend all that time in Clemson together. And one thing, I'm not looking forward to next year, but to think we'll get Calvin Ridley to go with this group of guys that we already have.
Oh,
so
that's
I'm
right.
really excited about what's going forward.
What do you think of the Lions, Marcus? Have you been following their progress and everything? I would think this is a pretty evenly matched game, if you're asking me, as an NFL fan.
Yeah, I agree. I think both of us are on a somewhat similar trajectory. I have a lot of respect for Dan Campbell, who I've played with in Detroit, Mark Brunell, who I know, playing against Aaron Glenn. So there are a lot of coaches on that staff that I have personal relationships with. Todd Wash, the defensive line coach. So there are a lot of guys in that staff that I know those guys are going to work hard. They're going to play their tails off and compete. And I think that's what we're going to do here. I'm looking forward to having an exciting game. And I think both teams are in this dogfight to continue their season and play well.
Hey, Marcus, I got to ask you a question. I would behoove myself if I didn't ask this question. One of the first people I met when I met you in terms of team members with the Indianapolis Colts, one of my favorite guys was Jeff Saturday. Jeff Saturday is one of my favorite guys. I had a chance to meet him in Indy the first time I went there, and also had a chance to meet him here Thanksgiving game in 2004, I believe it was. Talk about how you feel about that decision. He's now the head coach for the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, just tell me anything how you want to feel about it, because there's so many different ways you can go with it, but he's obviously the head coach there now, no coaching experience.
Yeah, I think for me, it would have been a tough decision for me to make if Miss Ursay would have offered me that job, because I know that there's a lot of responsibility other than coaching ball that comes with being a head coach of an NFL team. You're more of a CEO than you're a ball coach. And so for Jeff, having never been in a building for a meeting or for a director's meeting or a scouting meeting, to me, I think is a heavy load to carry. But knowing Jeff the way that I do, he's a man for the job. He's very hard work. He's determined. I think he's a great leader of men, and to me, that's the one thing that stands out in my mind. First and foremost, he's such a good leader of men. Not just a good leader; he's a great leader of men. And when you can have that on your resume, and I'm certain guys in that locker room and the coaches on that staff will see that about Jeff.
Hey, Marcus, I want to ask you about your current job right now, which is the Director of Player Development. Braylon and I always talk about, it's not, for guys that get drafted, it's not when you go, number 3 overall pick, it's where you go. Are you going to a competent organization that has a good structure, that has a good coach,
that cares about you,
that has a good staff to develop you as a player? How important is that, and how overlooked do you think that area is when you watch an NFL draft and you see this all talented player that comes, but they got no quarterback? Are they? You know what I'm trying to get at here? Just talk about that process as a player development leader there in Jacksonville.
Yeah, I think to me that whole picture of having a player come into an organization, it's that entire ecosystem. It's the strength and conditioning department. It's the dietitian. It's the trainers. It's the coaches. It's the general manager. It's the owner. It's the organization as an entirety. And to me, we here in Jacksonville, I can speak here, we take this holistic approach where we're all hands-on with our players. And we know that's vital because a lot of times coming from these colleges, sometimes they don't know or haven't been taught the professional way or the leadership skill set that sometimes is required to play this game. It's a business. At the end of the day, sometimes, guys come in with this, I don't have to work out today. I don't have to study my playbook today. But we take this approach that everything matters. Every detail matters when it comes in this building. And we make certain that we put our arms around every rookie, every free agent that comes here and meet them where they are and then help them develop from there.
That starts too with the head coach a little bit, does it not, Marcus? I mean, I don't know. As Braylon mentioned, you don't have to talk bad about the other guy, but the guy you got in there now, Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson. I mean, this is a Super Bowl winning coach that has been there and done that, and kind of brings a little bit of a cachet to the organization and a mindset, does he not?
Absolutely. I think Doug, with all he's done with his pedigree, winning the Super Bowl, he comes with a tremendous sense of confidence when you walk into a meeting and you hear him talk and knowing he's a Super Bowl winning coach. But the thing I'm more impressed about Coach Peterson is that, after playing, he went back and taught high school and became a high school coach, and then he got back into the business. So this guy started from the bottom and worked his way all the way up to the top. And to me, in that, there's a greater appreciation for the player engagement director. There's a greater appreciation for the people that cook our meals. There's a great appreciation for the guy that's doing the cut-ups and drawing the pictures late at night, because he did all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so to me, when you can take into account his accolades as a coach, and then you add in his respect from how he got back to being a head coach, and you take all that and mix it together, I think Doug Peterson's one of the greater coaches in this game today.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of pissed off people in Philly when he was let go, when he was fired. A lot of fans are pissed off. You're talking about a team and franchise that had never won for as storied as they are, and you let go the guy that got it done. Got to get back to Michigan. Got to let you go as well. I know that this is his work week. Got to let you go. Appreciate the time, big bro. I got to relate to Michigan and Georgia. Georgia is the only roadblock in terms of the teams that people believe are unbeatable, or this is it. This is reigning, defending. Do you think in your mind Michigan can stand with Georgia, or do you think Michigan can beat Georgia?
Yeah, I think so. I think the way this team is put together as a tough physical football team, and that's who Georgia is. And they're playing and coached by a guy that I spent some time with in the league, and Kirby. But they're a hard-nosed, tough team. But I think what Michigan experienced last year is going to be a great advocate for what happens this season. And I think if that matchup happens, I think they're better prepared because of what happened last year. It's like, okay, we got to get bigger, we got to get faster, we got to get stronger. We have to find a way to beat two teams this year. It's Ohio State and Georgia, and I think this team is built for that.
Marcus, we certainly appreciate it, my friend. Happy holidays to you, and I hope I'll be rooting for you after this week. Okay, I'll be rooting for you. Fair enough.
You should root for Michigan, though. So
we will root for Michigan. We will root for Michigan. Go Blue. There we go.
There you go.
There we go.
Let's go.
I love it.
Yeah, got him in the spirit now. Got him in the Michigan vibe now. Let's go.
Marcus, certainly appreciate it, man. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you down the road here. Happy holidays. We got a lot to get to next. I do have a question for you guys that I want to ask, and
y'all thought I forgot.
It's a Top 10 Thursday.
Y'all must have forgot.
We'll do that coming up.
You know what time
but first,
it
a
is.
message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Come to Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and win a chance. Register to win a down payment, an opportunity of a lifetime on your dream home. Up to $200,000. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
I'm Dr. Jason Olafson, DC, the founder of the Custom Health Centers, and we've helped thousands of people learn how easy it is to lose weight and keep it off with our customized weight loss and body contouring programs.
With Custom Health, you don't feel hungry, you eat well. My name is Simeon Timbuk, and I lost 71 pounds on the program.
Call us at 844-789-THIN or visit CustomHealthCenters.com for a free consultation and get started for as little as $5 a day.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
All right, gang, it's time to get that tan going again.
Get it going.
You're not going to do it by laying outside these days. You got to go to Chili Peppers Tanning. There's 27 locations, 2 right here on Woodward if you're in the area. If not, you're going to join the Pepper Club no matter what, because they're going to save you $5 on unlimited tanning against any competitor out there.
Unlimited?
Unlimited. Cleanest salons in the D, the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, the darkest tans. They are your vitamin D headquarters. ChiliPeppersTanning.com.
Time to talk a little bit about Centron. The official energy drink of the Detroit Red Wings has partnered with WoodwardSports.com to present to you a limited edition six-pack. Go to CentronWorld.com/Red Wings with the cranberry, the sugar-free, and the classic. They want to partner with us to re-energize and revitalize the community. So let them drink it, live it with Centron.
Hey guys, before we get to Top 10 Thursday, quick question if I may.
Do it.
You know, the Lions do play the Jags this week. Would you, in the rebuild, would you rather be where the Jags are with Doug Peterson and Trevor Lawrence, or would you rather be where Detroit is with Dan Campbell and Jared Goff?
No.
I'd rather take the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah,
I mean, you have your quarterback. Then that's always the biggest question.
Back.
You have the quarterback. That question's answered. You got a running back. Like Travis Etienne, for people that don't know, is called arguably the greatest running back in the ACC. If you look at his stats, if you look at championship games and all that, like he's killed to Zay Jones, Christian Kirk. Then on the other side,
Marvin Jones.
And who
they get next
2
year?
weeks. Oh, they get Calvin Ridley.
Yep.
And then on the other side, you got your Trayvon Walker. You got a guy that is competent to what you have in Aiden Hutchinson here. I mean, he has an interception. He has a couple sacks, not as many, but you know that guy can play. And then you got Doug Peterson. Doug Peterson's a proven quarterback. I mean, coach. Well, he's a quarterback too, but he's a proven coach. He's won a Super Bowl. You've seen his body of work. You've seen how he goes about it. And like Marcus said, he's gone to every level of the NFL in terms of scouting department, doing tapes, special teams, wide receivers, etc. So he knows it all, has a better appreciation for it all. I just think they're ahead because of those things.
You couldn't have asked a better question, right?
That's
really a great way to look at these two teams that are equal right now as records go. But come on, man. They got their guy.
Mm-hmm.
They got their guy who got no tutoring in his freshman year, in his first year. They just threw him to the wolves, and their coach was a fraud. Now they get a real coach that was a quarterback. and you have your running back. You got some pretty damn good wide receivers. The offensive line might not be as good as the Lions, but they got some pretty good offensive linemen as well. And the defense, that's going to be a work in progress, same as the Lions. There's no question about it that the Jags are ahead by about 3 lengths.
To answer your
if you're
question,
talking a horse race.
To answer your question, answer it like this: the questions that you have about the Detroit Lions, you don't have about the Jacksonville Jaguars. The two main questions we keep asking ourselves as it relates to the Detroit Lions is Dan Campbell, Jared Goff. Derek Campbell, Jared Goff. That's the two main questions we keep asking. We know the defense needs some more players, but we know that's going to happen. Is Jared Goff your quarterback? Is Dan Campbell your head coach? You're not asking those questions in Jacksonville.
All right, gang, it's a Top 10 Thursday. Braylon Edwards, what do we got?
Where's the microphone? I'm getting up today. So
here's JB. Here he's coming.
So today,
Tuck's coming.
Today on the heels of the Michigan performance by Cornelius Johnson, J.J. McCarthy.
Oh, yeah.
And thank you.
Donovan Edwards.
I said, why not talk about the top 10 performances in this rivalry within the last
Tishmanga Biaka Batuka
30 years or so. So I'm getting over there. I'm going to the board. Here we go. Coming in at number 10. This is a 2-4. This is a 1A. This is 1A.
Tied at 10.
Braylon Edwards, Denard Robinson, 2003. We beat Ohio State in what was called the game at that time. I had 137 yards, 2 touchdowns, had an 87-yarder call back. We beat them by 14 points. Denard Robinson in 2011, they beat Ohio State. And then he had 167 passing, he had 170 rushing, and he accounted for all 5 touchdowns. Coming in at number 9, Chris Perry.
Oh, I remember that.
154 yards rushing. He had 2 rushing touchdowns, and he had 55 yards receiving. This capped off a game that got him to the Heisman Trophy ceremony in New York that December. Number 8, Cornelius Johnson. You just saw it. 2 catches that were huge in that game, finishes with 164 yards, 2 touchdowns in the horseshoe. Man, that was huge for Michigan, huge for that rivalry. Number 7, we just talked to this guy, Jamie Morris, 1986. They beat Ohio State. They twomped Ohio State, But Jamie Morris has 216 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns, kills it as he goes on to win 3 of 4 games against Ohio State. Number 6, we just talked about this guy who plays for your Detroit Lions. You saw what he did at the University of Michigan, against Ohio State last year. 3 sacks, count them. 1, 2, 3 sacks, and they go on to rout Ohio State by 15. Coming in at number 5, as we switch it over, J.J. McCarthy this year. And the reason why I said you're talking about arguably the biggest game in Michigan, Ohio State history, down in Columbus, sophomore first-year starter, J.J. McCarthy. They keep asking, can he do it? Is he the guy? Why'd they bench K? I don't know about J.J. Well, he shut all you guys up to the tune of 278 yards, 3 touchdowns, count on 1, 2, 3 touchdowns. They get the big win by 22. Number 4, same game. You saw it, 214 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns. Donovan Edwards, Blake Corum goes down. Everybody's like, okay, does Donovan Edwards, can he bear the load? Didn't look good early in the game. Second half, he comes out like a man possessed, 214 yards, 2 touchdowns in the shoot. Number 3, this game right here last year, it still rings bells and Ryan Ermanni's here. You're still thinking about that game last year.
Hassan
You're still thinking about it.
Haskins, baby.
Haskins. This is when we knew the tide had turned in the Michigan State rivalry. You're talking about
bully ball.
5 touchdowns.
Not 1, not 2,
3,
not
4,
3.
5 touchdowns, just like held to the victors, baby. 169 yards rushing. He did it. He was physical. Made Ohio State quit. Say uncle, why don't you got done?
Uncle!
Number 2, had him on the show last week. My man said Michigan was going to win. Charles Woodson, the reason why I went to Michigan. You saw it, 1997. This was the infamous game. He almost did the Heisman pose, but he got tackled by his teammates. Punt return up the sideline. 3 catches for 60 yards, and also had an interception that sealed the deal for Michigan. But number 1.
Who did the Heisman pose?
But number one, touchdown Tim Chimanga Biaka Batuka, 1995. I was there. It was something special. Coming to that game, Eddie George was a Heisman Trophy hopeful. Definitely won the Heisman. Should have won when you look at the stats. The stats were phenomenal. But you know what? In this game, he got outplayed. Chimanga had 178 yards at halftime, and then he came back with another. You do the math on that. 150, give or take, about 50 or 52 yards. Had another 152 yards. Dominated 2 touchdowns. They beat Ohio State, and Ohio State was the number 1 team in the country. I think these are the top 10 performances
Very nice.
in about the last 30 years or so, as it relates to wins. Because if we're not talking wins, well, Desmond Gardner had 455 yards and all that, but he didn't win.
Where's
gotta
Desmond?
win.
One guy I got to ask you
Where's
about.
Desmond Howard?
Desmond?
Yeah.
Desmond had a punt return. He had 90 yards receiving. He had no touchdown. I mean, like,
Hello, Heisman.
you said what?
That's remember Keith Jackson?
Okay,
Hello,
go back
Heisman.
to these performances. Like, go back to these performances because I knew that was going to get asked.
It's okay.
Desmond
Put him at
Howard.
11.
Chris Perry, 154, 2 touchdowns. Maybe you take Desmond. Maybe you could put Desmond Howard in here. But Desmond had 90 and then 70 in the tud. I was like,
Absolutely.
But the pose, like I'm not taking.
Hey, where was Chris Perry taken in that draft, by the way?
28 to the Bengals. 28 to the Bengals.
And he went to New York?
Yeah, he did.
And one didn't?
It was him, Carson Palmer, Larry Fitzgerald.
I'm just saying, he wasn't even the best offensive player on that team.
Hey, man, but you know what, though? Hey, in the Big Ten, the running back is all the love, man. Running back is all the love. Okay, so maybe you take this off, and you could put Desmond here since he did strike the Heisman.
Hey, it's your list, dude.
Or maybe
Screw
you
that.
blew this up, but hey,
Take
you know
Perry
what?
off. Leave you on.
I mean,
I'm not taking.
Desmond gets enough love.
Yeah, I ain't taking you off our own list.
Desmond gets enough love.
All right, gang, we're going to take a break. Come right back. When we do, we'll go around the NFL. Also, I see a lot of people in the chat wanting to know more information about Blake Corum. We did speak about that earlier in the show. We refer you back to about 224, 225, somewhere in there. We talked about Corum. We can, if you want to revisit it, we can. If not, we'll continue on with the NFL. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts, have been for over 90 years. You see that black and yellow sign out in front of the house that tells the bad guys one thing:
Stay out.
Stay out.
Go Steelers?
Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what is important to you stays safe. Call that number right there, 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Call them today. Let them know Woodward Sports sent you.
Stay out.
Jason.
It's back. Year 3 of Woodward Sports Stuff-A Studio is here. The past 2 years, we've collected new unwrapped toys and stuffed our studio so we could hardly fit in it. This year, we're doing it even bigger. Join Woodward Sports and our whole family December 19th to the 23rd as we stuff our studio. While you're out shopping or just sitting on your couch ordering presents, make sure you grab one extra and drop it off at our studio, 15 Mile in Woodward in Birmingham. We'll be collecting toys around the clock to make sure every child in Mott's Children's Hospital feels the warmth of the holiday season. It's the time of year to do for others. Help us stuff our studio. Special thanks to all the wonderful elves at Meyer and Guardian Alarm for keeping the toys safe. Stuff-A Studio 2022 with Woodward Sports.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Big Boy!
Big Jim!
For a limited time only, you got to get down to Big Boy. For the all-new burgers and loaded fries, get them while they're hot. It's not the Slim Jim anymore. It's the Big Jim. They have the bacon blue burger, the chili cheeseburger, and those fries. Got to load them up. No more plain fries. It's chili cheese fries, nacho fries, baked potato fries. Satisfy those taste buds at Big Boy.
Big Boy, there you go. You have it. Lots of fun today. Again, gang, we're going to be at the Lodge in Kego Harbor tonight. Killer's Christmas.
It'll be fun too.
Tell everyone who Killer was.
Tom Kowalski, longtime beat writer for the Detroit Lions, Booth Newspapers, M-Live, Fox 2
staple.
Fox 2 staple, absolutely. Tom did a Christmas party, charity event, every year around this time. I think for 17 years. This will be the 17th year of that.
Yep, it's for Duchenne Muscular Dystrophy.
And the money goes to Team Joseph, our children's fund. Now they've added Defeat the Label and the Downtown Boxing Gym. 11 years ago, when Tom unexpectedly passed away, the Lions have since named their media room after him. It's the Tom Kowalski Media Room, and his friends, Matt Riley specifically, has kept this charity going. There will be a laundry list of celebrity bartenders, former athletes, broadcasters, sports personalities. We will all be down there as well. People from White Boy Rick to Mickey Redmond, Braylon Edwards to Tom Mazawey to Drew Lane, Dan Miller, Woody Woodruff, Jennifer Hammond,
TJ,
Erica Francis from Fox 2 will be there, TJ Lang,
Craig Monroe.
I mean, it's
Tommy Hitman Hearns was there last year.
There's a lot of people that are going to be out there.
Homeboy,
Dan Miller.
Tim McCormick.
Timmy Mack.
Timmy Mack will be out there.
Friend of the show. T-Mac was there
Dina
last year.
Centofanti.
There you go.
Dina's gone.
Oh yeah, we got that 6 to 7 window.
Nice.
We had fun last year. I was there a little too long.
And hopefully we got a big day tomorrow. So
hey, you're gonna wear your Larkin jersey?
First of all, that was a good one.
I know this killer's party. I know this killer party.
But I'm gonna be there because I told you.
I know, but what I'm saying is this killer party can get out of hand.
I was there till 3 last year, so I know it can get out of hand. But I won't be at 3 this year.
You handed out all the prizes to everybody at the end?
Hey man, I was I was DJing. I was DJing. I took over. It's iPod. I just hooked up to the sound system and I was DJing, man.
The Lodge is a cool bar.
I was getting it going.
It is. It gets packed, man. I'll tell you. I get anxiety around all the people.
I get you.
You know what I mean?
I get you.
Yeah.
Do you know how to make all the drinks?
I walk around with a bartender. You know.
You do?
Yeah.
You don't do it on your own?
Well, I do, but I ask.
Okay.
You know.
Just
what are you
checking.
gonna do? Yeah.
Just checking.
So it's good. We'll be raising some money out for a good cause tonight. Tom Mazawey, let's go around the NFL.
You want to go around the NFL? Let's do that.
Yeah, that's what you told me to do,
I
right?
did. I got a lot of stuff
Isn't that
to
what
talk
you told
about.
me to do? Yeah.
I did.
We got 20 minutes left.
We got the Patriots and Bills tonight. We've got a good Thursday night football game on Amazon Prime with Al Michaels and the crew and Kirk Herbstreit. This one is in New England at Foxborough.
Ooh.
Yet the Bills are the favorite. The Bills are 3.5-point favorites in this game. What says you?
I'm telling you.
What say you?
I've been telling you guys for the last 4 weeks. I think the Bills are in trouble. I don't even know if the Bills make the playoffs, man. I know you guys are going like, oh my God.
I'm not gonna say that.
I'm telling you.
I know they're not going to go undefeated.
Bills. This is very true. The Bills have struggled, man. Like the Bills have struggled in the last 5 weeks. They're losing the turnover battle. Josh Allen doesn't seem to be finding his rhythm consistently throughout the course of a whole game. They can't run the ball to save their lives, if you will. They had one decent running game in the past 6 weeks. On defense, because of the injuries, now Von Miller's out for the year. Well, not out for the year. He's out right now indefinitely. They're trying to figure it out. He says he may be able to play in a couple weeks, but the reports are conflicting on that. He's out. Micah Hyde's been out all year. The secondary has been off and on.
Micah Hyde killed them.
Micah Hyde killed him for sure. And then Poyer was hurt earlier. And then Tre'Davious White was hurt earlier on. So the secondary has been a mess. They are struggling. They're struggling to find themselves. Before they found that touchdown to Stephon Diggs, I want to say in the Lions game, they hadn't found each other in a very long time. Mark my words. Jeff Judon and what Judon is doing right now, Judon leads the league in sacks with 13.
Detroit.
Judon leads this league in sacks with 13. I'm going with the New England Patriots on the money line.
Ooh. You know, the only problem with that is I just saw how the Buffalo Bills absolutely toyed with New England last year in the playoffs.
They're not that same team right now.
And they beat him, I think, earlier in the year.
I'm going to go with Buffalo. I like Buffalo, but I don't think Buffalo is as strong as we all thought they were. Just my opinion.
I'm looking forward to seeing Mac Jones tonight because I really think he is taking that next step. So I'm really looking forward to that. We'll see how Josh Allen does with that bad wing, but that's a good game tonight. How about Patrick Peterson on his podcast, speaking out and really throwing the gauntlet down to Kyler Murray.
Kyler Murray don't care about nobody but Kyler Murray. Patrick Peterson said that on his All Things Covered podcast. Kyler Murray responded to that, saying, "This isn't true. You on some weird stuff, Patrick Peterson. You got my number. If you really felt like this as a big bro or mentor, you supposed to call me and tell me, not drag me so your podcast can grow." I actually side with Kyler Murray on this.
Of course.
I agree with both of them. I agree with both of them. I think what Patrick Pierce is saying is truth. He's speaking from experience. It's much like what Richard Sherman and everybody's coming out now saying about Russell Wilson now that he's gone. But the thing that's why I say I agree with both, is because I also agree with Kyler Murray. If you felt this way, pull me to the side and say something. Shoot me a call, shoot me a text. Like, whether it's even like ugly, whether it's even to where you just say something very stern and very direct. Yo, man, this is Pat Pete. Just hit you up and say, hey, man, just want to give you some advice as an experienced player in this league. Like, the way you're going about it ain't the right way. Like, and if he don't talk to you again, he don't talk to you again. But at least you did the decency as a veteran to shoot him the direction in the straight, shoot him in the straight direction, shoot him in the space. He didn't do that, and you're starting to see that more and more and more. And I don't like it. Even if you're telling the truth, I still don't like it.
Right.
No one wants a rat. No one likes a rat.
Hey, Kyler, you know what? Are you up for coming on my podcast? You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what Pat Pete could have said. Hey, look, Kyler, you up for coming on my podcast? Or something like that. Now, if he shoots that down, well, now you can say, well, boom, 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 boom.
Invited him.
Give a guy a chance. Whether you're telling the truth or not, give a guy a chance.
Are you guys ready for, you know what a terrible year Russ Wilson has, right?
Yeah,
Let's put up his numbers first there, Fletcher.
You got to see him. It's ugly.
Look at Russell Wilson's numbers. If you can read those, Ryan.
Russell Wilson ranks among 35 qualified QBs. Win percentage 29th. Passing touchdowns 28th. Passing rating 29th. Completion rating percentage 31st. Passing touchdowns and interceptions 27th. And passing TDs to attempts 30.
I don't know how
33. How many teams are there in the NFL?
32. I don't know how he's fallen off the shelf this much, but it gets worse. Last week in the game, he's got a couple of defensive guys chirping at him and coming off the field. And it gets worse than that. His beautiful wife, Ciara, throws him a birthday party. Only half the team showed up to Russell Wilson's birthday party.
I can speak to the last two. Now, the first one, in terms of Russell and his Russell and his teammate, they're arguing. You know whose best friend that was that he got into the argument with? That's the guy in which they got rid of to bring in Russell Wilson. It was the defensive end that they sent to Seattle. So they got rid of him. Remember the guy when they played in the first game of the year when he said, "Let's ride," when he was mocking Russell?
Yeah.
That's his best friend. And they got rid of him for Russell, and now Russell
that was a Monday night game.
Exactly, and Russell is now this poop show. So you know he's not happy with Russell. And then with the birthday party thing, look, it's 61 guys on NFL team. You get half that, man. That's 30 guys. That's a lot of guys.
I think so, too.
Nobody ever gets 100% involvement, whatever you do. I've done parties. I've been to Jason Taylor's parties. I've been to Darrell Reed.
Joy there?
I've been to, she was. She used to hang out back in the day. So I've been to these parties that people throw. No one fully ever comes. So if you're getting 50% on the NFL roster, that's good.
That was my initial response to that, too, because I think on our text chain, somebody said, guess how many people showed up to Russell Wilson's birthday party? And I thought the answer was going to be zero, like a total protest. And then it was half, and I was like, yeah, people got kids. People got things to do. Like, it ain't all about you, Russ. I mean, we all got lives. You know,
it's 30 people. That's a lot of people.
That's a lot of guys.
Yeah, okay.
So don't read too much into that one.
I will not. All right. I wasn't never invited to those kind of parties, so I don't know. I was always looking on the.
You got to be on the team, man.
I got you. I got you. Let me ask you about a guy that I love. I love Kurt Warner. I mean, who don't love Kurt Warner?
Nobody.
Okay. Hall of Famer, right?
Yeah, 100%.
From the
grocery store, from
the grocery store to the Arena League to the NFL. He's in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
You think Jimmy G will ever get to the Hall of Fame?
No.
Look at these numbers.
I know.
They are equal.
It's crazy.
To Kurt Warner.
But see, this is what you call selective stats, or this is what you call fraudulent stats, because you're adding the wins, passing rating, you're adding completing percentage, but you're not adding the stats. When you look at what Kurt Warner was doing stat-wise, you're talking about a guy that was throwing upwards of 5,000 yards a year. You're talking about a guy that was throwing upwards of 35 to 40 to 42 touchdowns a year. Jimmy G, yes, in all of these, they match. But when you start listing Jimmy G's touchdowns per year, yards per year, they fell completely miserable in comparison to what number 13 was doing.
That's a fact. If I throw 9 touchdowns to 1 interception for my career,
it's amazing.
That's why I throw it up there for you to have a little fun with you.
That is good. I thought of. I was like, oh wow, look at that.
You see how fast?
Then throw cold water on it right away. Throw cold water on it right away. All right, is that it, man?
I got one other guy coming out from from NCAA to go to the NFL.
Okay,
none other than Joey Porter Jr. from Penn State. He's going to play with the big boys.
He'll be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, a lot of people have right now. A lot of people have him 12 in. 12 in, can cover anybody, size, range. To be honest, like most people have him the second or third DB behind Keely Ringo or it's another individual. Keely Ringo from Georgia, and there's one more.
He'll move up. Guys, just to recap the Blake Corum for you, the report, several sources confirming the report, is that Blake Corum is having surgery tomorrow. He will be out for the remainder of the playoff. Mazi Smith, felony gun charge. The University of Michigan has made a statement on that. We led the show with that. If you want to go back, that's at 2 o'clock. Right at the start of the show, we addressed that at 2:25. 25 minutes into the show, we talk about the Blake Corum news as well. So you've got that info. Want to get to this story that kind of was making the rounds today. It was about LeBron James talking about Jerry Jones. You'll hear what LeBron had to say. We'll react to that. React. Favorite word. But first, a message from Custom Health Centers. What an approach to weight loss it is. They take the willpower out of weight loss. All the ways that weight affects your health, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically. It has been an honor that they have helped many professional athletes lose weight and improve their health. People like Eddie Murray, Detroit Piston Rick Mahorn. They have over 20,000 success stories. Whether you need to lose 20 pounds or 120 pounds, Custom Health Centers can help you do it. Hell, they made me look like this.
Sherman Clump.
From looking like that. Look at that. Isn't that something? Custom Health Centers. Call them today. 844-789-THIN. 844-789-THIN.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Beverly Hills Golf, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Looking to buy, sell a home, then Mike Phillips is the guy for you. Keller Williams Legacy out of Dearborn, Michigan is an amazing place to go to because the community value of it is so amazing. Also, they know what they're doing because Mike's been in the game 23 years. That's why he's number one. 23 years explains why he's number one, whether you're a player or a fan. Helping you get your investment is his number one priority. Number one priority. Go to Keller Williams Legacy in Dearborn. Tell them I sent you. 313-403-0011.
I got one question for you guys before you guys leave. I was thinking when I was on my way over here, I was wondering why I haven't gotten a question from you guys about the Jerry Jones photo. But when the Kyrie thing was going on, you guys were quick to ask us questions about that. Okay. Hold on. And I don't even want you guys to say nothing. When I watched Kyrie talk and he says, I know who I am, but I want to keep the same energy when we're talking about my people and the things that we've been through. And that Jerry Jones photo is one of those moments that our people, black people, have been through in America. And I feel like, as a black man, as a black athlete, as someone with power and a platform, when we do something wrong or something that people don't agree with, it's on every single tabloid, every single news coverage. It's on the bottom ticker. It's asked about every single day. But it seems like to me that the whole Jerry Jones situation photo, and I know it was years and years ago and we all make mistakes, I get it. But it seemed like it's just been buried under like, oh, it happened. Okay, we just move on. And I was just kind of disappointed that I haven't received that question from you guys. Appreciate it.
Good for LeBron James. Good for LeBron James. Often or not, so many times LeBron James, they put him in situations where he doesn't necessarily speak on certain things. He kind of hides and ducks and runs around them, and people call him out on that. Good to see him speak up on this, and this is why I say speak up. You got to hold the media accountable. Got to hold the media accountable. When anything political comes up, whether it's the China dealings a couple years ago, whether it was Trump talking about, he called the players in the National Football League stupid or dumb or whatever he called them for not kneeling, if you will, they got addressed about that. They asked him about Brittany Griner. They asked him about Kyrie. They asked him about Kaepernick. They asked him about all these political things that have nothing to do with putting the ball in the hoop, with nothing to do with being on our hardwood. But when this comes out about Jerry Jones, a beloved owner, a white guy that owns NFL team, well, to a certain extent, he's beloved in that the $1 billion boys company for the owners. Yeah. But they didn't ask him this question, and they also know. Like, I played in Cleveland. Everybody knows who LeBron's a fan of. All he ever wears is Cowboys jerseys. All he ever talks about is the Cowboys. So for them not to ask him one question about that was very interesting, considering they intensely asked LeBron questions about everything political. So I think he did a good job of putting them on notice. And that wasn't about, that moment right there, that wasn't about Jerry Jones. That was about the media. He put them on Front Street, and good for him, because they need to be held accountable. Because they like to ask everything else. They like to be intense. So why not ask this question?
Yeah, I mean, he has every right to ask it.
Yeah.
He has every right to ask it. I get a little, he played with Kyrie, it's a stretch for me. I mean, I can't imagine coming in the locker room asking him about Jerry Jones.
It's not a stretch. It's not a stretch.
Well, it's just my opinion.
Well, they ask him about every other political thing, whether it has dealings with him or not. They ask him about it. A lot of things don't have anything to do with LeBron James or like somebody he's connected to, but they still ask.
A lot of the things, though, you mentioned China. He sells, they make his shoes in China.
All right, good. Go ahead. Keep making excuses.
I'm not making excuses. You asked me a question. I'm just saying, Kyrie played with Kyrie's NBA thing. But I'm just saying, I'd ask him about. I don't know what to say about it, Bray. I mean,
hey, the Pistons host the Mavs tonight.
I mean, it was. I don't know what to say about it. I mean, I don't know what to say about it. It's 1957. Photo. The great thing about this is we have had progress in this country. It is not 1957 anymore.
I'm not even tripping over whether Jerry Jones is at fault or not in that picture. This had nothing to do with my statements or beliefs on that. It's just the fact that I've heard them ask him a million questions over his 20-year career that had nothing to do with him, basketball, Cleveland, Miami, the Los Angeles Lakers, his movies, the shop. I've heard him ask a million questions that had nothing to do with any of that. But now all of a sudden they don't want to ask this question. That's all I see.
I just want to say, who dug up that picture and why are they digging? Are they trying to get rid of Jerry Jones because he's a putz? He's a putz. I mean, him and Dan Snyder, all of these guys. Is that Dan Snyder unearthing that picture all of a sudden? Here's a little. Okay, guys, you wanna mess with me?
That is
well.
Very
Here we go. Here we go. I mean, John Gruden last year. I'm telling you, Dan. I bet you Dan Snyder is behind all this. That's just my take on it. Otherwise, who the hell else would find that?
I don't know, man. I don't know. This is why I need to follow more of the Tom Mazawey line of and just watch the games and not pay attention to any of this stuff. I don't
watched
care
the
about
Christmas tree
players
lighting
with
last night.
guns. I don't
2
care
hours.
about you know what I mean?
Rockefeller Center. I heard everyone singing. That's all I'm watching. I'm watching that. I'm building the show.
I mean, seriously,
Come on in, man.
it is.
Red Wings a little.
You know, I don't know. I just. You know.
Hey, the Tigers signed somebody today.
I saw Matt Boyd.
Matthew Boyd is back, everybody.
Look at that.
$10 million. He actually got a raise
Former
from the
Tiger,
last time he failed
veteran,
here.
left-hander.
He failed here at $6 million. They brought him back at $10 million.
Yeah. So there you go.
We're on our way.
Guys, Killers Christmas tonight. Come out, see us, raise some money for some great charities. Maz, you put together a hell of a show today, my friend.
Thank you, guys.
Hell of a show.
Thank you.
Fletcher,
I wanted to
JB.
surprise Braylon with his brother-in-law. That was my main thing.
That was amazing. Right
Tomorrow,
there,
we got picks.
We do got picks tomorrow.
We got fill in the blank Friday.
Let's get a good fill in
We
the
got
blank
Gus
Friday.
Johnson.
Let's get a good one.
Gus Johnson tomorrow.
We missed. Oh, that's another good one, man. We missed fill in the blank last week, so let's get a good one.
We did. Well,
we didn't do it.
Oh, because we were off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we missed it.
All right,
So-
Last week was filling the host Friday.
Filling the host Friday.
This is true. It was me and Malcolm Rodriguez. Great show by you guys. Thursday, one more day left. 2 more days left for Michigan takes on Purdue. And Michigan's not overlooking Purdue. Michigan's not going to overlook Purdue. They're going to go down there. They're going to handle business. So it'll be good. But talk to you guys tomorrow. We'll talk about the Lions and their chances against the Jacksonville Jaguars. And we'll just keep this show rolling, man. It's like a barbershop show, man. We're just talking, man. We're just some guys shooting the breeze, man. From man JB over there, Fletcher to my right.
Can I take
Uncle
this jacket
Maz on the
off now?
chair.
It's hot.
Ryan and Monty taking his jacket off over there because he's feeling good,
You
looking
think you
good.
look
'cause
really
custom
cool
help
with that jacket.
has got
Thanks,
him
man.
together.
Yeah.
He is Ermanni, I am Edwards, and that is Maz, and we are Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. See you later.
See ya.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.